What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr War Games, and today I am bringing an update to Heroes. Now it's not the Elemental Hero Neos profile, I will be able to bring that in a different video if you guys want to see it, so smash that like button, get above 50 likes in the first 24 hours, we'll bring that for you. This is just the generic hero build and how it can utilise the brand new cards of the Flame Wingman Infernal Rage, and I'll also show you a 2-card combo at the end of the video that ties everything together so you can see what this deck can now produce. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. So for the Elemental Heroes, we start off with, of course, the one Neos. So this is obviously in here because you are going to need him in order to perform the fusion summons for most of your Elemental Hero monsters, and it needs to be listed on cards such as the Elemental Hero Shining Neos Wingman. We've then got Triple Stratos, so this is your most important, or one of your most important cards. It's part of the 2-card combo. This card can lead into other forms of the combo as well, but it's really important to be playing 3 of this. If you wanted to kind of change it up and you were going, right, okay, well, my local environment need a lot more board breakers, I need to try and play a build that I don't rely on my normal summon. Arguably, you could start taking this down to 1, and what I would suggest in doing something like that is you're putting in Lava Golem, but then you're relying on a Hero Lives to be your go-to card. So you've got to be very careful with that, but it depends on your environment. Then, of course, we do have 2 Shadow Mist, 1 Liquid, and of course 1 Honest Neos. I still really like this card, still really rate the card. I feel a lot of people kind of give it a bad rep because it's like, oh, it's a high level monster, I can't do anything with it. And actually, in fact, it's just so powerful that a lot of people forget of what it exactly does. And it can cause your opponent a lot of issues and pretty much change the tide of the game. Then for your Vision Heroes, of course, you are rocking 3 Faris alongside 2 Increase and 2 Vion. Now, obviously, the issue with Increase is it's a brick, but it's a brick that stops a combo. So in other types of decks and everything like that, the one brick is like, oh, if you open it, well, you can still make plays with it. This one is if you open up Increase and you're only playing 1 copy of it, it completely sucks because it kind of stops the full Vision Hero combo because all you can do is go Faris and put Vion into the spell and trap zone. So you really need to be able to put Increase in there in order to get rid of the Faris to summon itself out, and then that summons out the Vion in chain. So that's where it gets really important, which is why you need to play 2 of it. It's kind of that old school double Garnet, where if you opened up Garnet, you weren't able to resolve Brilliant Fusion, whereas now it's like, okay, well, you need to play 2 Increase. If you open up both Increase, it sucks. If you run the risk of only playing 1 and you open up that one, then again, it sucks just as much. For the Destiny Heroes, we are on 2 Mali, 1 Plasma, and of course 1 Denier. Now you'll notice that I'm not main decking Angel. Now the reason I'm not main decking Angel is because, in my opinion, it's not that great going second. This deck has great potential to OTK very easily and can control a board state very easily. Now, a lot of builds are main decking the Angel, and that's completely up to you as personal preference. If you want to main deck the Angel, you can do. I just feel that I'd rather have a couple of board breakers in here so that I've got the balance that should I win the dice roll, I know what play I want to go for. If I lose the dice roll, I also know what play I want to go for, and I can side in Angel later on in order to kind of give me the same outcome that I'm pushing for anyway. That's just a personal preference take. It's not something that everyone goes to. So by all means, open up creativity. If you're like, right, well, Angel gives me auto wins no matter where I am, then go for it completely. It's entirely up to you. There is ways in the combo that I'll show you where you search out Angel very easily and you summon it down. It's just whether you want to go for Angel or whether you want to go for something like Plasma instead. Then, of course, we are playing Triple A Hero Lives. So this is, again, an insanely powerful card. The issue is you're paying half your life points, and then you have to control no face-up monsters. Now, obviously, that could be a little bit better with stuff like Book of Moon, because technically what you could do is if you open up this Book of Moon and Stratos, is you can normal summon Stratos, opponent chains Imperm or Veiler, chain Book of Moon, flip the Stratos, get the search off, and then you can still use Hero Lives because you control no face-up monsters to special summon another Stratos from the deck. It would mean that the face down Stratos will be utilised as fusion fodder, but again, that's kind of down to environmental kind of places and how it's really working for you. That's just a really kind of copium approach to it. As it is completely fine. Triple Fusion Destiny, this card on its own is absolutely nuts. It's a little bit different in this deck though because you don't really want to start with it, because if you start with it, you can't get into your Infernal Rage because it's a wind. So you've got to be very careful of when you activate this. The best thing about something like Fusion Destiny, and especially in this build here, is you don't need to get to Fusion Destiny to get into DPE. You can get into DPE through normal poly and everything else. On top of that as well, with Fusion Destiny, it's just such a great power card for going first, going second, and if you are going into time, if you do decide to play Dystopia. Entirely up to you again, comes down to personal preference and player kind of choice, really. Then of course you do have triple mask change. You'll see in the combo how you utilize getting to Shadow Mist very easily. On top of that, there are a couple of builds that are cutting this down to 1 or just not playing it as high at 3. And what I say to that is, at the end of the day, you're playing targets to kind of tag out your Stratos so that it doesn't get hit with Imperms and Veilers. You're playing Dark Claws already, so Dark Claw is just such an incredibly powerful card. D-Shifter is in the format, and a lot of decks are not being played because of a card like that. When you're able to, in your own archetype, produce a card that is just as strong as that and constantly stays on the board, not to mention the rip from the hand effect with so many players searching cards, it's great to rip cards, draw card, and then after that they're just going to lose so much advantage and value. Then for your one-offs, we've got the one Foolish, the one Miracle, one Rotor, Poly, and Cool Buy. Now, of course, all of these share their own purposes. This can pretty much search you out any of your level 4 monsters in the entire deck. Cool Bite is to stop stuff like Drolls, like Ashes at the right times, causing you issue. And then, of course, you do have Polymerization, which is searchable throughout the play. Foolish Burial is obviously send Shadow Mist, send Mali, whatever you might be missing, and that can then search you out a hero and get you started. So in theory, you actually have, with Foolish Burial, in the 2-card combo I'm going to show you later, you've got a route to get to one part of the card through like 7 different ways, and the other part you can also get through like 5 or 7 different ways as well. So the consistency factor is insane. Now I'm going to show you like an interchangeable kind of area, apart from Favorite Contact. So Favorite Contact is a card that you could interchange out for something like Favorite Hero if you want to. And that's if you want to go a bit more aggressive. You play Skyscraper, and then you go second a bit more often. You activate when you get to search out a favorite card off of the back of your Wingman Infernal Rage. You go for Hero instead of Contact, but Contact gives you the ability to get into your Shining Neos, which is insanely powerful. So the interchangeable cards are as follows. I've gone with 2 Triple Tactic Frost with 1 Talents, and then the 2 Imperm. Now the reason we've gone with these is because I kind of thought that if I was going to play Frost in the deck, going first, Frost can pretty much set me Imperm or Contact if I want to and if my opponent stops me. Going second, or if my opponent Nibiru's me and has a monster on the board, I can also get to stuff like Hero Lives, I can get to Rotor, Foolish Burial, or even Talents. Talents just being able to look at my opponent's hand or draw 2 more cards to start my combos off again, especially if I haven't even seen Fusion Destiny yet that entire turn, still gives you ways of being able to kind of build up a board and not really need to worry too much about that Nibiru that's just hit you. The final cards I've got is 2 Board Breakers in Droplet, and the reason I went with this and the Imperms is I was looking for cards that were both good going first and second so that you had the right balance. You didn't want to go all first, that if you lost the dice roll and you had to go second, you couldn't really break a board apart from getting to your direct cards. And you didn't really want to be able to build a deck that was like all go second, couldn't go first kind of thing. Because then if you can't break a board with a deck like this, there's no point in constantly going second. So we've got the balance here to go first or second. It is currently 41 cards, so if you're like, okay, well, I'm willing to take the risk of Angel in the main deck that I bury it enough, I would put Angel in here and boost this deck up to a 42 card deck. That way you're burying Angel a little bit more than you would do previously, and that's going to give you the ability to kind of balance out the risk and reward of the Angel kind of play. Now on to the extra deck. So we start off with the brand new card, Elemental Hero Flame Wingman Infernal Rage. It requires 2 Elemental Hero monsters with different attributes, and it must be fusion summoned. If this card is special summoned, you get to add 1 card with Favourite in its name from the deck or graveyard to the hand. You contribute this card that was fusion summoned using a normal monster or monsters, which is why you are playing Neos, as material to special summon a level 7 or lower Elemental Hero monster from your deck or extra deck that cannot be normal summoned or set, ignoring its summoning conditions. You can only use each effect once per turn. So the idea is that just be able to get to this, you're getting into Favorite Contact, you're setting up the Favorite Contact play, and then you're able to tribute it off. And more times than not, the card you're probably going to be going for is going to be something like Elemental Hero Sunrise. And the reason you're going to do that is it ignores its conditions, and then it obviously gives you the ability to stack all of the attack, and then you also get the additional effects to search a Miracle Fusion if it is special summoned, so it doesn't need to be specifically fusion summoned, which is why you can bypass that loop. And then when an attack is declared again, it helps you with your OTK pushes of destroying cards on the board. We're then, of course, playing the one elemental hero Shining Neos Wingman. So this one specifically requires Neos and one Wingman fusion monster. There you go. So, must be fusion summoned. It gains 300 attack for each monster in your graveyard. Now, it's each monster, which is absolutely insane because it doesn't just require the heroes. So if you were to be playing stuff like Ashes, Bells, Ogres, Mourners, everything else like that, you could very easily set this up to be an additional fat stack boss monster. It cannot be destroyed by card effect. If this card is special summoned, you can destroy cards your opponent controls up to a number of different attributes among the monsters on the field. Not just your field, the field in general. You can only use each of the effects once per turn. If this card destroys a monster by battle, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. So you're going to be able to get even more power plays to help with the OTK push. Now, how do you get to this through the deck? Well, very easily through Favorite Contact. You special summon a fusion monster from the extra deck that mentions a hero monster as material, so Elemental Hero Neos. Ignoring its summoning conditions by placing the fusion materials mentioned on it from the bottom to the bottom of the deck in any order from cards in your hand, field, graveyard, and/or your banished cards. If you placed Neos into the deck, neither player can return the monster special by this effect to the extra deck. So that gives you the ability that they can't bounce it at all. They need to get rid of it, and considering they can't destroy it, it does make it very, very tricky for your opponent to deal with. And it is one of the ones that once you've summoned it, you should be pushing for gain the next turn. Carrying on with the extra deck, I do play one Dystopia. This can very easily be interchanged. Like, there's so many different targets. So you've got the Hero Blast if you want to, you've got Dangerous, you've got the Mali Engine if you want to as well, Acid, Escario, entirely up to you, even Trinity. The reason I've taken Trinity out is for the pure fact that we've got Wake Up Your Hero, which does the job just as well. The reason I've got Dystopia in here is just for the ability of the burn damage, should I need it going into time. Then, of course, we've got the one Adoration. So the reason I chose Adoration over the Escario is for the pure fact that this allows me to reduce my opponent's monster attack and defense. Yes, my other one lets me buff the monster, but this one requires 2 hero monsters in general, whereas the other one requires an elemental hero monster and a dart monster. So it's a little bit more specific. It gains 100 attack for each elemental hero monster in your graveyard. But again, the chances are if you're going to be summoning out to Wake Up Your Hero with Miracle Fusion, you're not going to have that many hero monsters in the graveyard if you wanted to go all out and make Wake Up Your Elemental Hero an absolute fat stack boss monster. So I felt this was a little bit better to help me conclude an OTK play. Then, of course, we do have the Absolute Zero next to the double Masked Hero Darklaw. If you wanted to be a little bit more reserved, you could play Darklaw and Anki. But again, I don't think it's really needed at this current moment in time. I feel the game pace is quite high. That when you do get into grind games, or if you're at a local environment where it's a little bit slower, you're going to change your strategy up a little bit. And that's where you might look into it. Then, of course, you do play the one DPE. You could play 2 if you want to, if you are really worried about Cashteras, like just constantly banishing the stuff from your from your extra deck. But that's entirely up to you. The idea is you're going to want to try and get to DPE before that even happens. And if you're going first and you give them Angel, that's where it gets near enough an OTK play. So again, it really comes down to main decking Angel or not, depends on the local environment. Like if your local environment is all Labyrinths, then you're going to change the deck up. If it's all Cashteras, you're going to change the deck up. If it's a bit of a variety, you're going to change the deck up. So use this as a baseline of what you may or may not want to include in the deck, and then adapt as you see accordingly. Then, of course, for the Link monsters, we've got the one Wonder Driver, the one Decimator, the one Infernal Devicer. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with this, it requires 2 hero monsters, so nice and generic for the deck. And if it is Link summoned, you get to reveal a hero fusion monster in your extra deck. And if you do, add up to 2 of the fusion materials listed on that card with different names from your deck to the hand. You cannot special summon monsters to turn you activate this effect, except heroes, very easily done. You can only use each of the effects once per turn. Fiend monsters, this card points to you gain 100 attack and defense, 100 attack and defense equal to its level times 100. So sometimes comes up, but you know, not an out and out. Obviously, you only have one target to search, and that is, of course, your elemental hero Neos. If you do play the Neos build of this deck, then your extra deck changes up a little bit as well. And it's a little bit more fun, in my opinion. I feel this is the better, more aggressive route. And then of course we do have the final 2 extra hero cross crusaders to sign off the extra deck. And I think like 2 is more than enough. Like grind games happen, you're going to need it if you get there. And that's going to be able to how you can build boards back up again, how you can break boards, and how you just constantly have huge amounts of consistency. So that's it for the main deck. I'm now going to show you, well, main deck and extra deck. I'm now going to show you the 2-card combo as well. Here is the 2-card combo that could be utilized going first or going second. As I've designed the deck to be a bit more aggressive, I'm going to show you the go second combo. But to see the go first combo, go and check out Spanko's video. I'll try and leave a link in the description below so you can see his video that involves Dark Angel as well. So, keep in mind as well, Stratos has multiple routes to it for stuff off of Hero Lives and Reinforcing the Army, as well as E-Core if you do play it. So we're going to start off by normal summoning the Stratos. Stratos is going to search you out your Mali. I know, very weird to actually want Mali in your hand. This we're going to utilize it the most off of Faris. So use Faris's effect, discarding the Mali to summon itself down. You then get to put Increase into your spell and trap zone, and then use Increase's effect to tribute off the Faris, summoning itself out, while also summoning out Vion. On summon, Vion will use its effect to Foolish the Denier from deck to grave. You then use Vion's second effect to banish specifically Faris, do not banish any of the Destiny heroes, to search you out a Polymerization. At this point what you want to do is you want to link up your 2 Vision heroes, being Vion and Increase, and go into Deceiver. Now the reason you're going to go into Deceiver is you want to make sure that you're maintaining 2 attributes on the board to make sure that you get used to at a point where a card, especially something like Elemental Hero Flame Wingman, which says it wants 2 attributes, you're always in a phase to be able to resolve that as best as possible. So, on the summon of the Infernal, this is going to allow you to reveal your Elemental Hero Shining Neos Wingman from your extra deck, and that's going to allow you to add your Elemental Hero Neos. You now have the ability to activate the Polymerization using Neos plus Stratos, both Elemental Hero monsters, both with different attributes, to summon out your Infernal Rage. You then get to use the effect of Infernal Rage to search you out your favorite contact. You can then use Infernal Rage's effect to tribute itself, and in doing so, this will then give you the ability to special summon out your Elemental Hero Sunrise. Again, as Sunrise is special summoned, you can use this effect to search you out a Miracle Fusion. This is now where you want to use the Mali in Graveyard to banish itself and special summon Mali to the board. In doing so, you then want to link off this Mali with your Infernal Divisor, and this is going to get you into your Wonder Driver. You're then going to use the ability of being able to go Denier to summon to Wonder Driver's zone and put the Mali back to the top of the deck. In doing so, what this will allow you to do is it will allow you to actually trigger the Wonder Driver's effect, and it's just if a hero monster is normal or specialed, you get to target a poly in the graveyard and add it back to the hand. Well, technically set it. So we're going to set the poly. Then in doing so, you're in a very good position. You've got pretty much everything you want, so it doesn't matter how far you want to push it, really. So we're going to start off by linking the Wonder Driver and the Denier together, and you're going to go into your Cross Crusader. The reason you're going to do this is Cross Crusader is going to use his effect to bring back Denier or, of course, Mali, doesn't make much of a difference here, and then destroy it. Now the card you're going to want to search is going to be your Liquid Soldier, and the reason you're going to want to do this, whether you are up for the draws or not, is that this is going to allow you to give you a Absolute which can clear off the board completely. So then what you want to do here is you want to use the ability of the Mali in the graveyard, banish this, to summon the Mali you put back to the deck, and then you want to activate your Polymerization. In doing so, you are going to be using a hero monster plus a water monster to make Absolute 0. On top of that, if that wasn't enough, you'll then get the ability to draw 2 new cards and then discard a card. Now, if you feel you can complete the OTK and the 2 cards you drew were absolutely insane, you can very easily get rid of Favorite Contact. I quite like holding this in case my opponent is able to stop the board being broken or is able to stop the OTK. I then still have Favorite Contact that I can fall back on because I've already got the fusion monsters and materials ready for your Elemental Hero Shining Neos Wingman. So at this point here, you discard 1 card. and then you're going to be able to activate the Miracle Fusion. So you banish from your field and or course graveyard to fusion summon a monster from your extra deck that lists Elemental Hero. Well, very easily, you are then going to be able to fuse into your Wake Up Your Elemental Hero. You want to make sure you use Absolute Zero at the very least, and then it's entirely up to you if you choose to use the remaining heroes in the graveyard, being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In order to do so, when you do that, you're going to give your Wake Up the Hero a very nice buff, including this one as well, of 3,300. Not to mention, of course, your Absolute Zero will nuke your opponent's entire front row, and that means they've got no monsters left to defend them. This will then give you the ability to start attacking and destroying with Sunriser, if not completely pushing for the OTK with Wake Up Your Hero. Should they somehow survive, even after you did all of that, and if you wanted to be a little bit more defensive, you probably would keep a couple of cards in the graveyard. But this would then also allow you to set up your Shining Neos Wingman during your opponent's turn off of the back of Favourite Contact. So you've always got a fallback. Not to mention as well that from our opening hand, we only use 2 cards. So we're still going to end up having 4 cards that could have helped break a board, set up a board, or extend the board as well. Anyway, I hope this has given you as much information as possible so you can see what the new cards add to the deck. It's really nice to be able to utilize something like Elemental Hero Shining Neos more, and it's a great addition to the deck to be able to have Infernal Wingman, purely because I really liked the Wingman design previously. It just wasn't modernized, whereas this is a very nice modernized version for the deck, which really does take it up a nice new level. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. As I said at the start of the video, use this as a kind of like a random structure to put the deck together. If you're like, right, okay, I want my build to be a little bit more aggressive, how can I do so? Or if you're like, okay, well, I kind of agree, I feel that Dark Angel has been bricking me lately, what other options do I have? Or if you're like, no, I don't agree with you, I really want to play Angel in my main deck, it's such a good, just one card, card that wins you the duel, and I completely agree with that, then by all means you can very easily add that in, and in doing so, check out, like I said, Spanko's video, you'll see the Go First combo, and that Go First combo also pretty much auto wins you the duel, because not only does it mean your opponent can no longer imperms, lightning storms, or evenly use you, but it also means they cannot activate spell cards, and definitely in a heavy Kashtira environment, giving them a monster as well will cause them so many issues that they won't be able to break the board, and they'll pretty much need to auto scoop unless they've opened up the absolute broken hand to break the board. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. As I said before, if you do have any questions, by all means, please put them in the comments down below. I will be more than happy to answer them for you. Obviously, if you get the video above 50 likes in the first 24 hours, I will also look into the Neos build, which involves more Neos cards, Neospacians, you name it. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, as absolutely always, stay safe. And of course, happy dueling.